Hi everyone, my name is Megan Dooley and I'm an occupational therapist, and I'm here today to talk to you about caring for your loved one with dementia and helping them to bathe as independently as possible within your home environment. Now, if you've watched some of my other videos, I talk a lot about the steps to helping you keep your loved one as independent as possible for as long as possible. And those things that we want to first look at prior to beginning any task within the home with your loved one is their physical abilities, their cognitive abilities, or that ability to think or remember how to do things, and then the environment in which we're asking them to do these things. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the physical abilities of your loved one, so the cognitive abilities that they may have, and then how you can set up that environment so that they can be successful for as long as possible. Bathing is one of the areas that is commonly discussed by caregivers as a challenge for their loved one. And so it's important that you start thinking about this early on in the disease progression and setting up some really good environmental modifications and changes to help your loved one see that task as something that's positive as opposed to something that causes anxiety and discomfort for them. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about what that means and how discomfort can come from bathing for somebody with dementia, as many of us probably find showering or taking a bath as something that's very comforting and helps relax us. So let's start with the first thing, physically. Again, you want to look at your loved one's abilities to get into the bathtub. Can they step over a ledge? Are they able to hold or manipulate items such as the shampoo, the body wash? Do they have the range of motion and balance to wash their whole body while standing in a shower? Or are they sitting down in a bathtub? So therefore, are they able to get up and down out of a tub? You want to look at all of these things, observe your loved one. You can ask them if it's the earlier stages of dementia, do they need help with that? So if they do, we're going to talk about ways that you can modify that environment so that they're able to still, take the shampoo out of the bowl or out of the container so that they're still able to scrub their body, even if they've lost some of that range of motion or they aren't able to stand any longer. How can they thoroughly clean themselves without, while maintaining that safety because of decreased balance? So that's the physical. First couple things you want to look at. Also, you want to make sure and look at their vision. Are they able to tell that contrast? As I've talked about in previous videos, that contrast and depth perception starts to fade for individuals with dementia. So you might want to start planning ahead for extra lighting in your shower. Many homes don't have a light in their shower. You might want to invest in that, or also invest in contrasting colors of washcloths or important items that they may use in the shower. The second thing we talk about is their cognitive abilities or their abilities to understand the process of bathing. There are a lot of steps that go into bathing. When you really sit down and look at it, you have to be able to turn on the shower, adjust the temperature, and then get in, and the process of shampooing or bathing with soap and then rinsing, drying, getting out, shutting off the shower or the bathtub, getting out, drying. There's a lot of components that go into that. So there's a lot of opportunities for an individual with dementia to get confused or overwhelmed by that process. And then the environment. What is your environment like? Are there things set up to promote safety? Are there grab bars? Do you have the ability to allow your loved one to sit down if they're not able to stand any longer or their balance is decreased? Is there availability within your shower or bath area to provide them with only the equipment that they need? Is there a place that they can adequately reach that while they're sitting? So can they grab that shampoo? Can they grab that body wash without having to stand up? Do you have a handheld shower? Are they able to reach that handheld shower? Are they able to navigate or easily control the temperature of the water while they're in the bath? When they're getting out, do they have a clear space for them to move around within that bathtub or that bathroom area without the risk of slipping or falling or getting distracted by things. So that's the first kind of thing you want to look at. Remember that as dementia progresses, those needs and those abilities to continue to bathe are going to change, and that's going to involve you changing the environment or the support that they're given. So let's kind of talk about that. One really good thing to do before the task of bathing. So we're not going to take our loved one into the bathtub yet or into the shower. We want to go into the bathroom and remove any distractors. Okay, if you have decorative towels, you have, like I like to have decorations on the countertop, or some people store a lot of their grooming items up on the sink by the toilet. If you're like me, you probably have a lot of variety of shampoos in the bathtub. You want to remove all of that extra material because that can be distracting to your loved one. Decorative towels may confuse them as to what they should be or shouldn't be using. Why am I getting yelled at for using this towel and I have to use this one? You don't want to add any increased anxiety to them. So if you can make it clean, clear cut. If you don't have a lot of storage in the shower, maybe using a caddy that's labeled. There are 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioners. There are some items that are, body wash, shampoo all in one, which can eliminate the need for so many different containers for them to have to try to navigate which one to use. If it's earlier stages, you can put up a nice list of the process to showering, undressing, turning on the water, checking the temperature. You want it to be very detailed, but clear cut. So it may have pictures, but as dementia progresses, that nice order of how to shower or bathe is going to probably apply more to a caregiver, a respite worker, but it's still very important that you have that available so that everyone's following the same routine for that individual. So there's no surprises. Hopefully it's pulling from, again, that procedural memory and not implementing something new into their learning or their idea of what they do when they bathe or shower. So step one, make sure the environment's pretty clean, clear cut. Throw rugs, bath rugs, those can be a fall hazard or a trip hazard if they're not attached down and if they're, too thick. So really look at how much you need a bath rug. So many people say, well, then the water gets on the floor and I don't want to slip. Well, I agree with that, but always having rugs all over your bathroom increases the chance of tripping on them, and water probably is not getting to all of those areas. So looking at like a nice bath mat outside of the shower can really help with that. Having that individual dry off very well before getting out helps eliminate that need for so many rugs. Also within the shower, a lot of people like to get like those mats that have the suction-y things on the bottom so that they can place them in there and reduce slipping and things like that. Those are probably not my favorite thing because again, they can build up with water underneath them. If your shower isn't draining the best and you start to have water, those billow up and then there's a gap that can be a trip hazard. Sometimes they don't fit in the space appropriately, so you kind of have them suctioned over things and there's a lip, and that can also increase your trip hazard. So I really recommend getting strips, non-slip strips. You can buy them at Walmart, you can buy them at Menards, Lowe's, online, and you just put them in your bath or your shower. And those provide a nice grip to them. They're very easy. You can cut them for different sizes and just stick those down. They need a couple days or a day or so, 24 hours, I think, to just really seal. And now you have a nice grippier bottom and not that chance of that individual getting caught up in them and tripping. Okay. So checking all of your environment. If you don't have a handheld shower and it's the more early stages, just consider looking into that. And also consider looking into, can you help or assist that loved one very easily in the current setup of your bathroom? Or if you had to help them, would it be very difficult? So bathrooms are very difficult to navigate as any disease progresses. And for somebody with dementia, eventually losing those physical abilities, the ability to walk. You might really need to look at, can I get a wheelchair in there? Can I or a respite worker or a care provider get in and help them bathe? And if not, you may want to look into different grants or funding or your home loans, or even just planning with savings to modify that bathroom. You want to look at the doorways, the distance for getting in the shower. Glass doors, although some people find them very beautiful, they're often, if they're multiple glass doors for sliding, they're not wide enough for an individual to easily get into a shower, and they make it very difficult for a caregiver to assist. So those are just some things environmentally that you want to be planning for in the early stages. And the sooner that you can maybe make those changes, the better for your loved one. If you can't make those changes because of funding and things, bathing might decrease or not be an option for as long as you would like it to be. And you might end up with more of a sponge bath or at the sink type of bathing, which we can talk about in a minute. So environment. Now we're almost ready to take that individual in to bathe. Make sure that you bring their clothes with them, whatever they're going to need. The biggest thing with bathing and dementia is discomfort from being cold, wet, the noise, those type of things. So soap in the eyes, turn on the shower, heat up the room, get it nice and warm and comfortable. As somebody with dementia, as the disease progresses, they lose that ability to understand that delayed gratification. So as the disease progresses, they no longer say, okay, I'll be cold for a minute, but I'm going to feel better and clean when I get out of the shower. They're just cause and effect. If I have to take my clothes off and it's cold, I'm going to be cold, which makes me uncomfortable and I don't want to do it. When I get in that shower, it sprays me in the face. It's uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. That's not what they're not aware that they're thinking that. It's just that's what's going on in their brain, is that cause and effect. I don't want to be cold, so I'm not going to get undressed and get in the shower. So if you can heat up that environment, get them in there, it's going to be great. The next thing is have a plan with lots of towels and lots of ways to keep them warm when they get out or dried off very quickly. Okay. Gather only the towels and washcloths that you want to use for that event of bathing in that time, because that individual may get confused about, is that a clean washcloth? Is that my towel? Whose towel is that? Why are there 2 washcloths in the shower? So minimalizing and just being prepared for just that, that time with bathing. Now, getting them into the shower, you want to make sure that they're aware of temperature, that it's not too hot, too cold. As the disease progresses, they may not be able to navigate hot and cold. I actually have a client who does not understand that and puts it hot when trying to shut it off, which is a high risk for burns. So setting your water heater to like 120 degrees Fahrenheit for the max can be helpful. You can purchase different items or temperature regulators for that shower that maybe shuts off or will not let it go past a certain temperature of water coming out. But you want to make sure that you're aware of all those abilities cognitively and physically of your loved one, and make those environmental changes to ensure or to help decrease the risk of injury. Once they're in there, if they have difficulties with physically putting soap, shampoo in their hands or getting it out of the squirt bottle, there's too many steps with clicking open the shampoo and lifting it. You can get automatic dispensers that can hang in the shower and then put nice big labels on them that say soap, shampoo. If it's moderate to the end stages of dementia, you can just put the soap on them and then give them a visual of how to wash, and then take the washcloth, rinse it out, and have them rinse off. It's going to become step by step later on in the disease progression for your loved one. So you don't want to say, okay, get in there and shower. They're going to get very confused. There's going to be water. Holding the handheld shower is going to work probably pretty well in the early to middle stages. As the disease progresses into the more late stages of dementia, that's a task in itself, holding that. Okay, how am I supposed to wash? Now you want me to stand up. There's a lot of things going on. So you may have to take over more, just having them sit in the shower on a shower chair or shower bench and just helping to bathe them and making sure that they're comfortable with the situation. Using bright colored or contrasting washcloths will help them find those items. Another thing is looking at grab bars that are installed in very strategic places. So in the shower, of course, but also right when they're getting out of the shower. Anywhere that they are going to have to lift their foot or transition into a different level of flooring or a different type of texture of flooring, you know, from the base of the shower to the floor of the bathroom, you want to have a grab bar in those areas. Then once they're done showering, you want to get them dried off and comfortable as quick as possible. Don't, as the disease progresses, don't prep them too early for taking a shower. When it's time to shower, give them that cue, hey, we're going to go take a bath, and then try to encourage them through positive experiences that they like. If they like coffee, if they like certain type of music, maybe you can play that music in the bathroom. Tell them first we're going to go shower and then we'll have a nice cup of coffee, you know, outside or whatever it may be. You know, give them a hand to kind of guide them into the shower and then work them through that process. If it gets to a point where it's not safe or they're not able to get into the shower any longer, you can look at doing a sponge bath, but those same types of bathing techniques apply. So you really want to only provide them what they need to bathe. Only give them one task at a time. Don't have them completely undressed and then sit there very cold and be washing up. Wash up their face, then take off their shirt, wash up, put a shirt back on. Have them take off their pants, wash up, put their pants back on, take off their socks. Try to keep them as comfortable and warm as possible. If it gets to a point where, you know, there's a lot of refusal for bathing, try to just bathe a part of the body a day. The issue becomes that a lot of caregivers get stressed out because there starts to be some incontinence that's occurring, you know, quite frequently. And we'll talk about toileting on a different video. But with incontinence, if you're seeing that, you can do, you know, just a sponge bath or have them sit on the toilet and give them a nice warm washcloth and really try to clean that area. It doesn't have to be a full shower, just to try to deter infections or any skin breakdown. So kind of that whole gamut of bathing. It is a complex task, and it is a task that tends to be very difficult for loved ones as the disease progresses. If you have questions, please reach out. My email is below. And know that, you know, your best effort is appreciated and that you are very much appreciated as caregivers and you are loved, and you know, the world appreciates all that you do for your loved one with dementia. So if you have questions, reach out. And these are just some suggestions. Again, bathing is going to be a lot of trial and error and really making that a positive experience for your loved one. Have a great day.